In order to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Read that again. Because most people hear a quote like that, nod their head, feel inspired for 30 seconds, and then go right back to the same habits that have kept them stuck for years. They want a different life with the same routine. They want success with the same effort. They want results without discomfort. And that's exactly why nothing changes. Look at your life honestly. The results you have right now are not random. The money you have, the skills you have, the confidence you have, the opportunities you have, they're all connected to what you've been doing repeatedly. So if you're unhappy with where you are, why do you expect your future to look different when your actions still look the same? That's not hope. That's wishful thinking. And wishful thinking has never built a business. It has never built a strong body. It has never created financial freedom. It has never turned an average person into someone extraordinary. Action does that. The uncomfortable kind. The kind most people avoid. The truth is, every level of life demands a different version of you. The person you are today cannot achieve what the person you want to become will achieve. Something has to change. Maybe you need to wake up earlier. Maybe you need to stop wasting hours scrolling through your phone. Maybe you need to learn skills while everyone else is being entertained. Maybe you need to stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, because the life you want is on the other side of behaviors you're currently avoiding. Let that sink in. The opportunity isn't hiding from you. The success isn't running away from you. The problem is that the actions required to earn those things are uncomfortable. And comfort is expensive. Every day you choose comfort, you're paying for it with your future. Every day you avoid the hard conversation, the workout, the study session, the business idea, the risk, you're making a silent decision to stay exactly where you are. Nobody likes hearing that, but it's true. You cannot keep doing what you've always done and expect life to suddenly reward you with something extraordinary. Life doesn't work that way. The world rewards growth, and growth demands change. So ask yourself one question. What am I refusing to do that could completely change my life? Think about it, because deep down, you probably already know the answer. You know the habit that's holding you back. You know the work you've been avoiding. You know the discipline you've been postponing. You know exactly what needs to happen. The question is whether you're finally willing to do it. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for motivation, waiting for confidence, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for a sign that tells them it's finally time to start. But while they're waiting, someone else is moving. Someone else is learning. Someone else is building. Someone else is becoming. And years later, they look around and wonder why everyone else seems ahead. The answer is simple. The people who got ahead stopped waiting. They stopped treating action like something that only happens when they feel inspired. They understood that success doesn't care how you feel. The gym doesn't care if you're tired. The business doesn't care if you're scared. The books don't care if you're motivated. The work still needs to be done. And that's the part nobody wants to hear, because we've been taught to follow our feelings. But feelings are unreliable. Some mornings you'll feel unstoppable. Other mornings you'll want to stay in bed and forget every goal you've ever set. If your actions depend on your feelings, your results will always be inconsistent. You cannot build an extraordinary life with inconsistent effort. You can't. The people you admire aren't special because they never feel doubt. They aren't special because they're fearless. They're special because they move despite the doubt. They act despite the fear. They work despite the discomfort. And that's a decision available to every single person listening right now, including you. Think about how many opportunities you've lost because you were waiting to feel ready. How many ideas died in your mind because you overthought them? How many goals were abandoned because the first obstacle showed up? How many times have you convinced yourself that tomorrow would be different? Tomorrow, the most dangerous word in the world, because tomorrow has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. People say tomorrow because it feels productive, it feels responsible, it feels safe. But most of the time, tomorrow is just another excuse wearing a different outfit. And deep down, you know it. You know there are things you've been postponing for weeks, maybe months, maybe years. Not because you can't do them, because doing them would force you to change. And change is uncomfortable. That's why most people never transform. They want the rewards of change without the pain of change. They want the results without the process, the confidence without the struggle, the success without the sacrifice, the respect without earning it. But life doesn't hand out rewards before the work is done. Life asks for payment first. The payment is discipline. The payment is effort. The payment is consistency. The payment is showing up when nobody is watching. The payment is continuing when nobody is clapping for you. The payment is doing the hard thing long after the excitement disappears. That's the cost, and most people refuse to pay it. Then they wonder why their lives stay the same. Look at your habits, not your goals. Your habits, because your habits tell the truth. Anybody can say they want success. Anybody can say they want freedom. Anybody can say they want a better future. But what you do every day reveals what you actually want. Your actions are voting for your future. Every hour matters. Every decision matters. Every excuse matters. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're casting a vote for the life you already have. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're casting a vote for the life you want. The future isn't built in one dramatic moment. It's built in thousands of small decisions. The decision to study when you'd rather scroll. The decision to work when you'd rather rest. The decision to keep going when you'd rather quit. Those moments seem small, but they aren't. Those moments are everything. Because the person you become is nothing more than the accumulation of the choices you make repeatedly. And if you want a life you've never had, then at some point you must become someone you've never been. That's where everything changes. There comes a moment in every person's life when excuses stop working, not because the excuses disappear, but because the consequences become too painful to ignore. You can lie to other people. You can tell them you're trying. You can tell them you're working on it. You can tell them you're waiting for the right time. But when you're alone at night, staring at the ceiling, you know the truth. You know whether you've given everything you have. You know whether you've been disciplined. You know whether you've been wasting time. And that truth follows you everywhere. The reason many people never reach their potential isn't because they're incapable. It's because they spend years protecting themselves from discomfort. They avoid failure. They avoid criticism. They avoid rejection. They avoid risk. And in doing so, they avoid growth. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life is hiding behind something uncomfortable. The body you want is hiding behind difficult workouts. The knowledge you want is hiding behind long hours of study. The business you want is hiding behind uncertainty and risk. The confidence you want is hiding behind situations that make you nervous. Everything valuable requires you to walk directly toward discomfort. Yet most people spend their entire lives running away from it. They want life to get easier. But successful people understand something different. They don't ask for easier. They become stronger. Because no matter where you go, challenges will follow. If you avoid one challenge today, another one will appear tomorrow. The goal isn't to escape difficulty. The goal is to become the kind of person who can handle it. And that's where responsibility comes in. Responsibility is not a punishment. It's power. The moment you take responsibility for your life, you take back control. As long as you're blaming your circumstances, your past, your bad luck, other people, or the economy, you're giving away your power. Because if someone else is responsible for your life, then someone else must fix it. And that's a dangerous way to live. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to wake up one morning and hand you the life you dream about. Nobody is going to knock on your door with success. Nobody is going to build your future for you. That responsibility belongs to you. And while that may sound harsh, it's actually good news. Because it means your future is still in your hands. It means your story isn't finished. It means that no matter where you are today, you can start changing direction. Right now, not next week, not next month, not when conditions improve. Today. Most people underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years because they overestimate what they can achieve in 5 days. They want immediate results. They want instant proof. They want success to happen quickly. And when it doesn't, they quit. But greatness doesn't work like that. A tree doesn't grow overnight. A building isn't constructed in a day. A powerful future isn't built in a weekend. The process takes time. The key is continuing when results are invisible. Can you keep working when nobody notices? Can you keep improving when nobody praises you? Can you stay disciplined when there is no reward yet? That's the test. Because there will be periods where it feels like nothing is happening. Weeks where progress seems slow. Months where your hard work appears invisible. And that's exactly when most people give up. They quit right before the breakthrough. They stop right before things begin to change. They walk away because they mistake silence for failure. But silence is often where growth happens. The roots grow before the tree appears. The foundation is built before the building rises. The work happens before the reward arrives. Never forget that. The person who keeps going while everyone else quits gains an advantage that cannot be taught. Persistence. And persistence beats talent when talent refuses to work. Persistence beats intelligence when intelligence becomes lazy. Persistence beats potential when potential never takes action. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need perfect confidence. You don't need perfect knowledge. You need commitment, a decision, a line in the sand where you say, no more excuses, no more waiting, no more pretending. From this day forward, I will do the things that my goals require, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because the life I want will never be created by the person I used to be. And if I want something I've never had, I must become someone I've never been. Now let's talk about something most people never want to admit. They are addicted to comfort. Not drugs, not alcohol, comfort. The comfort of staying the same. The comfort of familiar routines. The comfort of avoiding challenges. The comfort of telling themselves they'll start tomorrow. And comfort feels harmless. That's why it's dangerous. Because comfort doesn't destroy your life in one day. It slowly steals your future one decision at a time. One skipped workout, one wasted afternoon, one excuse, one missed opportunity. One day of procrastination, then another, and another, until years pass and you realize you've been busy but not productive, occupied but not progressing, alive but not truly living. That's what comfort does. It gives you short-term pleasure while quietly taking away long-term success. The scary part is that most people don't even notice it's happening. They wake up one day and wonder where the years went. They wonder why they're still in the same place. Why they still have the same problems. Why they still haven't achieved the goals they once promised themselves. The answer is simple. They never change their actions. And your actions are your future, not your intentions, not your dreams, not your plans, your actions. Everybody has goals. Everybody has dreams. Everybody talks about what they're going to do someday. But very few people actually do it. That's why success looks rare. Because commitment is rare. Disciplina is rare. Consistency is rare. People love the idea of greatness, but they hate the process required to achieve it. They want the trophy, not the training. They want the reward, not the sacrifice. They want the destination, not the journey. But life doesn't work that way. The process is the price. You either pay the price now through discipline or you pay later through regret. And regret is always more expensive. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Not the version of you that succeeded. The version that never tried. The version that kept making excuses. The version that stayed comfortable. The version that kept delaying action. Can you imagine the disappointment? Knowing you had potential but never used it. Knowing you had opportunities but never took them. Knowing you could have become more but chose comfort instead. That pain is far worse than failure. Failure teaches. Regret haunts. Failure says, at least you tried. Regret says, what if? And those two words can follow a person for the rest of their life. What if I had started? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had taken the chance? What if I had worked harder? Don't let your future become a collection of what ifs. Make it a collection of I'm glad I did. Because every successful person reaches a point where they stop asking whether something will be difficult. They already know it will be. The better question is, will it be worth it? And the answer is almost always yes. The difficult workout is worth it. The long hours of learning are worth it. The sacrifice is worth it. The discipline is worth it. The risk is worth it. Because on the other side of those things is growth. A stronger mind, a stronger character, a stronger future. And here's the truth. You are capable of far more than you've shown so far. Far more. Most people never discover their limits because they quit long before they reach them. The moment things become uncomfortable, they stop. The moment things become difficult, they retreat. The moment things require sacrifice, they hesitate. Don't be one of those people. Be the person who keeps going. Be the person who stays focused when others get distracted. Be the person who remains disciplined when others become lazy. Be the person who does what is necessary, even when it isn't convenient. Because years from now, people will look at your results and call you lucky. They'll see the success, but they won't see the sacrifices. They won't see the lonely mornings. They won't see the difficult decisions. They won't see the days you wanted to quit, but continued anyway. You'll know, and that's what matters. This is where everything changes. Not when you get more motivation, not when you get more money, not when someone finally believes in you. Everything changes the moment you decide that excuses are no longer an option. Because the truth is, your future is being built right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. With every choice you make, every hour you spend, every habit you repeat, every excuse you accept, you're building something. The question is whether you're building the future you want or the future you're settling for. Most people think success is one big moment, one lucky break, one opportunity, one decision, but success is usually much quieter than that. It's waking up and doing the work when nobody is watching. It's staying focused when distractions are everywhere. It's choosing discipline when comfort is available. It's making the right decision over and over again until that decision becomes part of who you are. That's why your habits matter more than your goals. Goals show you where to go. Habits determine whether you'll get there. You can have the biggest dreams in the world, but if your daily actions don't support them, those dreams remain fantasies. A person who dreams for an hour and works for 10 minutes will always lose to the person who dreams for 10 minutes and works for an hour. Every single time, because effort compounds. The work you do today doesn't disappear tomorrow. It stacks. The pages you read stack. The skills you practice stack. The workouts stack. The discipline stacks. The sacrifices stack. And eventually all those small actions create results that look impossible to people who weren't paying attention. People see success and think it happened suddenly, but it didn't. It happened slowly, quietly, one choice at a time, the same way failure happens. Nobody ruins their future in a single day. It happens through small, repeated decisions. A little procrastination, a little laziness, a little distraction, a little inconsistency. And years later, those little decisions become a life they never wanted. Never underestimate small actions. Small actions create big futures. Right now, there are people with less talent than you succeeding because they're more disciplined. There are people with fewer resources than you winning because they're more consistent. There are people with more obstacles than you progressing because they've stopped waiting for perfect conditions. Think about that. The gap between where you are and where you want to be might not be intelligence. It might not be talent. It might not be luck. It might simply be a willingness to do what others refuse to do, to keep going when others stop, to stay focused when others get distracted, to remain disciplined when others become comfortable. That is where extraordinary lives come from. Not extraordinary circumstances, extraordinary decisions, repeated consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year. The people you admire didn't become great because life was easy. They became great because they refused to let difficulty decide their future. And now it's your turn. Your turn to stop talking and start doing. Your turn to stop wishing and start working. Your turn to stop waiting and start moving. Because the clock is moving whether you act or not. The days are passing whether you use them or waste them. The future is coming whether you're prepared for it or not. One day you'll wake up 5 years older. The question is simple. Will you be proud of the person you become? Or will you be looking back at this moment wishing you had started? That answer is being written by your actions today. One day, this version of you will be gone. The person you are right now, the habits you have, the mindset you have, the standards you have, they won't stay the same forever. The only question is whether they will improve or decay. Because change is happening either way. Every day, you are becoming someone. The person who keeps their promises, or the person who keeps making excuses. The person who attacks challenges, or the person who avoids them. The person who creates opportunities, or the person who waits for them. You're becoming someone right now. And years from now, the life you live will reveal who you chose to become. Nobody remembers the goals they talked about. Nobody remembers the plans they made. The world remembers results. Results are the evidence of discipline. Results are the evidence of sacrifice. Results are the evidence of consistency. And if you truly want something you've never had, then you must stop negotiating with the actions required to get it. You don't negotiate with your goals. You don't bargain with your future. You don't lower your standards every time things become difficult. You rise. You adapt. You push forward. Because every level of success demands a different version of you. The version of you that exists today cannot keep the same habits and expect a completely different future. That's impossible. Something has to change. And that something is you. Not tomorrow. Today. Not when you're ready. Now. The people who transform their lives are not the people who know the most. They're not always the smartest. They're not always the most talented. They're the people who act. Again and again. Long after the excitement disappears. Long after the motivation fades. Long after the applause is gone. They keep going. And that's why they win. So when this video ends, don't let it become another moment of inspiration that disappears after 10 minutes. Don't listen to these words and then return to the same habits that are keeping you stuck. Make a decision, a real decision, a decision backed by action. Choose one thing you've been avoiding, one habit, one goal, one challenge, and attack it today. Not because it's easy, not because you're motivated, because your future deserves more than your excuses. Because deep down, you know you're capable of more. You know there's another level inside you, a stronger version, a more disciplined version, a more focused version, a version that stops talking and starts doing. And that version is waiting for you to make a choice. The choice to do what others won't. The choice to stay consistent when others quit. The choice to become who your goals require you to become. Because remember this, if you want something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. That's not just a quote. That's the price of transformation. That's the price of growth. That's the price of becoming extraordinary. And the good news is that the choice is yours. If this message connected with you and gave you something to think about, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what goal you're chasing and what action you're committed to taking starting today. Your story might inspire someone else to keep going. And if you want more videos that challenge you to grow, think bigger, and demand more from yourself, consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a like if this message helped you, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, keep moving forward, and become the person your future is waiting for.